Okay,
you
so
there?
just to
Good.
wrap up the whole
Where are you from,
SSRI
Paul?
thing,
What's
which
your
had a lot
question?
of press
I'm from
and
London, Ontario,
massive
Canada.
amounts of sales
And
and lots of people being prescribed it. The very fact that serotonin is an inflammatory molecule involved with dysbiosis and poor bowel function, etc., responsible for things like migraine headaches, amongst many other things. The fact that they produce an SSRI is kind of madness right there. So all you have to do is look at serotonin, look at the negative effects of serotonin, and get over the fact that they're painting it in this
well, Dr. Peat, do you want to say anything to that?
hormone type
opinion
light, because that's not the way serotonin is, but that's just misinformation for control. So you have to be very careful where you get your information from and see who's selling it, because you sometimes find there's a very biased approach
and
that they're
bad
taking.
information.
Okay, so moving on from SSRIs, let's just talk about
there you go. Let's
some
leave
other
it at
compounds
that,
which
in terms of not wanting to name names,
advertised, and
I think the whole thing is such an
unfortunately they're around
embroiled,
for a long time before they become
soup of
discontinued or withdrawn from the market because of their side effects.
Poor judgment, like you say.
I think some of these
it's unfortunate
things that I think about,
it's a mixture of greed,
going to be
money and power. And
I know we've mentioned
it's always
the
been
estrogens
been told
and the
that it's going to be the problem that we live with,
and so have been linked to cancers and other inflammatory
ever since Adam and Eve.
degenerative processes.
The bells ringing.
What would you quickly say, because I know we've got other things to cover here, what would you quickly say about estrogens?
That they synergize with radiation and stress. That estrogen is sort of an ultimate stress-related hormone, like histamine and serotonin, and they have their place in tissue renewal, but that place should be limited to a few hours following any trauma or tissue injury.
Right. Now you've always said that really estrogen's main function, I think, is from an inflammatory point of view for implantation during.
And the same thing when any tissue is injured, it helps to activate the cell renewal process. But if that continues, then the cell renewal turns into a tumor or.
Right, and there's lots of estrogen-dependent or estrogen-promoted tumours. I wanted just to quickly say, because we do have another couple of callers here, I looked at an advert, if you like, for a product called Del Estrogen. This was a prescribing information as of November 2017, and I was quite pleased and shocked to see that it said in pretty big, bold, capital letters, estrogens increase the risk of endometrial cancer. It wasn't just that. There was a big list of other issues associated with it, but yet they are advertising this product and quite blatantly telling you that it is actually a fairly big promoter of endometrial cancer.
And the publications in the medical journals over the years have claimed that estrogen is good for more than 200 different disease conditions, all of which were proved false.
Yeah, it's almost like tell the biggest lie and you have the greatest chance of getting away from it, or rather be the most blatant. And people, I think, unfortunately, are just in a state at this point in time where they just don't really want to hear too much more, because it's just too shocking. And so when they freely tell you that these things cause cancer, or they cause heart attack or stroke or increased risk of death, I think unfortunately most people are not really serious enough about being critically thinking about it.